Hello, dear viewers. Welcome back to our channel, where unforgettable love stories full of emotion, suspense, and heartfelt moments are brought to life with honesty and vivid storytelling. In the previous episode, after days of desperate searching, James finally received news about the woman he loves deeply, Tu Diep. And it wasn't from just anyone, but from Officer Ly, who unexpectedly discovered and rescued Diep in a remote suburb about 150 kilometers away from where James is currently staying. That distance might seem far, but for a man whose heart is burning with longing and a deep desire to hold his beloved again, it's a sign of hope close almost within reach. Without hesitation, James got everything ready, prepared to leave at any time, day or night, just to see that familiar face again. The face he had dreamed of countless times during those lonely nights. But will James make it in time to see Tu Diep? Will fate finally grant them a chance to embrace, even if just for a fragile, fleeting moment between reality and dreams? Or will they be torn apart once more, victims of life's cruel twists, and more importantly, this love between James and Tu Diep? A love that has endured pain, misunderstanding, and danger. Will it finally end in a dream wedding where they walk hand in hand into a new life together? All of these questions will begin to unfold in the upcoming episodes where hearts, tears, and destiny intertwine in unexpected ways. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, so you won't miss a single step of James and Tu Diep's stormy yet emotional journey. Leave us a comment below. Do you believe love can truly conquer all? That day, the sky was heavy with storm clouds thick and gray, as rain poured down like a flood from the heavens, chilling the heart to the core. But despite the harsh weather, despite the rain soaking their clothes and stinging their eyes, James barely rested. From dawn until late into the night, he wandered through every corner, every alley, every place Tu Diep might have passed through. He visited roadside diners, small eateries hidden in narrow lanes, even old convenience stores on street corners, and makeshift drink stalls echoing with the sound of rain. Wherever there were people, James would stop pulling out a worn photo of Diep, his eyes pleading, his voice hoarse from the cold and desperation. "Please, have you seen this girl?" But every time he was met with the same answer, shaking heads, furrowed brows, never seen her before. No one remembered. No one knew. And James, moving from hope to heartbreak, from expectation to despair, would silently nod in thanks and move on. His shoes were soaked through. Mud clung to the hem of his pants. His hair, drenched, stuck to his forehead, but his eyes, they still burned with an unwavering fire. He couldn't give up, not when there was even the slightest chance, not when he believed deep down that somewhere out there Tu Diep was waiting, scared, alone, and possibly on the verge of giving up herself. Standing silently in the pouring rain, James paused in front of an old rusted bus stop. He stared out into the empty distance, his chest tight with emotion. "Diep, where are you? Are you safe? Are you thinking of me?" The question swirled relentlessly in his mind, cutting deeper with every passing second, like invisible knives carving sorrow into his heart. Officer Ly glanced at James with concern in his eyes. Though a seasoned professional, even he was starting to feel helpless in the face of so many dead ends. But it was James's resilience, his unwavering love that gave them strength to carry on. Refusing to give in, James decided to widen the search. At first, they only focused on the outskirts where Diêp was last rumored to have been seen. But soon, the search expanded main roads, large and small markets, gas stations, and train stations. Officer Lee mobilized additional help from local task forces to volunteer groups. Everyone joined the mission to find the mysterious girl named Ly Tu Diep. News spread quickly. Flyers bearing Diep's image were posted everywhere, from bus terminals and utility poles to school gates, hospitals, and neighborhood walls. No location was overlooked. Every eye, every step taken had one goal: to bring Ly Tu Diep home safely. Even farmers in remote villages joined the effort. Some stood watch over their fields. Others searched along winding forest paths, hoping to catch even the smallest clue. Many had never even seen Ly Tu Diep before, but still declared, "If she's in trouble, we can't just stand by and do nothing." Amidst the overwhelming despair, James never gave up. Even when it felt like the search had reached a dead end, even when he broke down in tears alone, beneath the eaves of a roadside shack, he pressed on. To James, every day without finding Diêp was another day his heart grew heavier. Another day the world seemed dimmer, stripped of all its light. And perhaps it was that very love, genuine, fierce, and unyielding, that continued to guide him, pushing him forward through every test fate threw their way. Let us continue to follow this journey, a journey to find a girl lost in the storm of life. And ask ourselves, is love strong enough to lead James back to Ly Tu Diep? Can two souls battered by pain still find their way back to each other? Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next emotional chapter in this powerful love story. Because ahead lies more than just waiting. It's where destiny could change their lives forever. On Ly Tu Diep's side, though her body was worn down and her spirit nearly broken, she still clung to a fragile thread of hope that she would see James again. Every step she took on the road home, the road back to the man she loved with all her heart, seemed to pull her out of the darkness that had consumed her in recent days. That path, filled with danger and uncertainty, was the only light keeping her heart from collapsing. But life had never been kind to Ly Tu Diep. Hunger gnawed at her insides like a wild animal, tearing through her empty stomach. For days, she had survived on a few sips of rainwater and the last scraps of dry food she managed to keep during her escape. Today, completely exhausted, she couldn't take another step. Each movement felt like a battle. Her limbs trembled, her hands weak, and her vision blurred as if wrapped in a thick mist. Spotting a small forest nearby, Diêp forced herself forward, dragging her tired body through the trees in search of something, anything that could save her from the hunger threatening her life. Then, like a flicker of hope, she saw it, a wild tree bearing clusters of deep red berries peeking through the thick leaves. With her reason dulled by hunger and desperation, she reached out and began devouring them one after another. Each bite felt like a lifeline, like a final breath clinging to life itself. But just as hope seemed within reach, disaster struck. Less than 10 minutes after eating, Diep began to feel dizzy. Her vision spun, her head swirled in a surreal haze. She tried to hold onto a tree for support, but her body gave in. Her strength was gone, and there alone in the silent forest under the cold shadows of the trees, Tu Diep collapsed unconscious, pale, her breath shallow and fading. Yet fate hadn't completely abandoned her. At that very moment, a middle-aged woman carrying a basket and foraging through the woods happened to walk along the same narrow path. When she spotted the young girl crumpled beneath the tree, her face drained of color. The woman rushed over, panic in her eyes. She quickly surveyed the scene, then noticed the scattered berries beside Diep. Relieved, the woman exhaled. Thankfully, they weren't poisonous. But eating too many of them on an empty stomach could cause dizziness, and even fainting due to a sudden drop in blood sugar. Realizing what had happened, she gently lifted Diep, and with all her strength carried her back to a small cottage she lived in, modest and hidden deep within the forest. That rainy night, the woman tended to Diep with quiet care. She wiped her down-placed warm towels on her forehead and brewed ginger tea over a flickering fire. She never left Diep's side, changing cloths, holding her cold hands, whispering comfort like a mother watching over her child. The wind howled outside, but inside that little house, warmth and humanity remained. When the first rays of sunlight slipped through the cracks of the wooden window, Tu Diep slowly opened her eyes. Disoriented, she had no idea where she was or how she got there. She looked around and saw a kind stranger sitting beside her eyes, tired from staying awake all night, but still filled with gentle compassion. "Who are you? Why am I here?" Diep whispered, her voice faint. The woman smiled softly and brushed a strand of tangled hair from Diep's face. "You collapsed in the forest. It's a good thing I found you in time. Don't worry, you're safe now." As the day wore on, Diep told her everything: her escape, her painful separation from James, and the ache of longing that had haunted her ever since. The woman listened in silence, her eyes filled with quiet understanding, as though she too had known loss and love. "Go, child," she said finally, her voice gentle yet full of certainty. "If your love is true, it will lead you back to where you're meant to be." Diep embraced her, a stranger, yet someone who had saved her life, someone who had given her more than just shelter. She had offered belief, warmth, and the strength to keep going. Diep gathered a few pieces of bread and water that the woman had kindly packed, then thanked her with all her heart. And once again, Tu Diep set off on her journey. Her legs were still weak, but her eyes now burned with renewed determination, because she knew that ahead, beyond the trees, beyond the hunger, beyond the pain, was James, the man who was searching for her with every breath, the man she loved more than life itself. Will James make it in time to see Tu Diep in that fragile moment, when they are just a short distance apart? Yet fate seems determined to throw one final challenge their way. Will destiny finally smile upon them, allowing them to embrace after so many days apart? Or will their dream of reunion fade once more into the harshness of reality? Every passing second has become more precious than ever. James is racing against time and against fate itself. Meanwhile, Tu Diep, after all the pain and loss she has endured, still holds on to the belief that true love will guide her home. The answer awaits in the next episode, where emotions will erupt and long-hidden truths will finally be revealed. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the most critical moment in James and Ly Tu Diep's turbulent journey. Leave a comment below if you believe that true love can overcome any obstacle.
Cuộc sống mới có thực sự giúp cô tránh khỏi những tổn thương hay chỉ là một cách trốn tránh thực tế? Khi nhìn vào Diêp, cô cảm thấy một nỗi nhớ vô hình, một cảm giác muốn quay lại nhưng không dám. Từ Diêp nhận ra rằng dù muốn hay không, cô vẫn không thể thoát khỏi quá khứ của mình. Những tình cảm đó dù bị giấu kín vẫn tồn tại đâu đó trong trái tim cô như một phần không thể thiếu của chính mình. Vậy thì Từ Diêp có sẵn sàng quay lại với Diêp để đối diện với những gì xảy ra giữa họ? Liệu cô có thể quay lại quá khứ, song lưng và tiếp tục đi cùng anh trên con đường mới, hay cô tiếp tục sống trong thế giới mà đã xây dựng một thế giới không có Diêp, không có ký ức cũ xưa? Câu trả lời vẫn chưa rõ ràng, nhưng một điều chắc chắn rằng cuộc gặp gỡ này sẽ là một bước ngoặt không chỉ cho Diêp và Từ Diêp